How are you?
Doing great. Hope everybody else is doing great. Cracks me up every time. We want to welcome you to the Tuesday night show. We're talking about connections that we've all made while collecting watches, personal connections. Maybe you've gotten closer to a family member. Maybe you've met and gotten inspired people to get into collecting, those kind of stories. So we want to hear from you in the chat. We also have two unboxings. I've got a little unboxing, which we'll probably do towards the beginning of the show, but we'd like your upvotes for that. And then Mitch has a much better unboxing, a really cool unboxing, and that's going to be coming up later as well. So want to welcome everybody in. We'll see who's in, and then we'll do some wrist checks. Oh, not just a few people in so far. We've got Goldfinger, who was first. Welcome, welcome. Van Lux is here. And of course, Lonely Wrist is here because he's on the panel and has no choice.
Right.
That's right, but to be here. Yep. And we've got Night Diver. I never made any connections collecting. Well, you made one. You made us. So there you go.
It's fair.
And we've got Ryan in the house. Great to see a healthy Mark on the panel. Absolutely. He said before the show he's 90%. We'll take 90% over where he was just a few weeks back. So that's awesome. And let's see what's on the wrist, everybody. We'll start with the lonely wrist. Is your wrist lonely? No,
it's not. I got my Panerai Luminor.
I love that watch. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love it too.
Beautiful watch.
It's a fun one. I was wearing my Submariner this morning, and then I had to take some watches to my watch repair guy, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't wear my Rolex so it doesn't overcharge me. It's the first time I've ever seen this watch repair guy, so I put the Panerai on. So
there you go. And he saw that you paid that much for that watch and said, "Oh man, there's something wrong with you." So
yeah, he said, okay, he's overpaying for this. Maybe I could throw him a bone on these services.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So yeah,
we've got Jen G joining us as usual. Howdy.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
Oh, it's no problem. No problem at all. Mr. Mark, what Omega is on your wrist this evening?
The Omega Speedmaster Super Racing with Spirate is on the wrist.
That's right. Hell of a watch.
Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. Mr. Mitch.
I am wrist naked in preparation for the unboxing.
Hey, there you go. If you ever wanted anything
away,
you got it.
Nudity on the watch stream here.
We've got JD joining us. Hello, JD. Thank you for being here. And we've got, of course, Miss Jen G in the house. What's on the wrist tonight, Miss Jen G? The Foquanaut, and we can't hear you for some reason.
The Foquanaut or Aqua Knot, as I like to call it sometimes. So that, and then there's the stack.
That's the stack for today.
Yeah.
Very good. My personal watchmaker joining us, Jen G.
That's right.
That's right. I just shipped her a couple of watches for her to mess around with in service, and she's going to do a great job.
If you want to watch Robert cry,
yeah,
tune in here in about a week or so.
No, you're
gonna. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it clean and running good.
Yeah, both of them are going to be fantastic when they're done.
That's right.
Want to welcome in AB. He saw the Panerai, rolled his eyes, and said, "At least it's not a Bell and Ross."
It could be. It could be a Bell and Ross movement inside of a Panerai case.
Oh my God, that would be like
Frankenwatch.
Yeah,
right.
Those are trendy nowadays.
Night Diver says, "I'd pay retail for the new Omega, first Omega in space. It's a beautiful watch."
Yeah.
I saw that. I guess it was in the Omega boutique about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
May have been a little bit longer than that now.
I had one for about a month, but I sold it. And the reason why I sold it was I found, well, no, actually that wasn't the reason. Although you're right, it is small. The main reason was in most lighting, there was not sufficient contrast to read the time.
Yeah.
And I'm old. My eyes don't work well anymore.
Yeah, you and me both.
That's fair.
So, like I said, we're talking about, we're going to have a guest on this evening. She is at an event this evening, so couldn't make it. So we're hoping to get her back or get her on next week. So we'll try again. But so we figured we would talk about kind of the relationships, the connections that we've made while collecting watches. Obviously, I have a connection with all the people on this panel. We talk offline all the time. I have a connection with, a lot of the people in the Watch Hangout group that I'm very happy to be a part of. And, we all have a good time talking to each other online, but there's also been some personal connections made with people like Kurt, who I met through the Watch Hangout group, but he lives local. We go to watch events now all the time. He's a great guy. I'd love to hang out with him. So that's what we're talking about. What kind of connections have you made with folks both online and offline as a result of watch collecting? Because I wouldn't know any of these folks if it wasn't for getting into watch collecting and starting to watch the Watch Hangout group and getting into the WhatsApp group and all the rest of that. So anybody want to volunteer a story or volunteer what you're getting out of watch collections as far as a personal connection with other people and meeting other people?
Sure.
Totally.
So I live in Pittsburgh, but I've made the drive 3 times now across the state to Philadelphia to meet up with some watch people. And one time I'm from Philadelphia up to New York. So like in New York, I met Tim Wright.
Sorry.
Buckley. Yeah, seriously. Buckley, PK, and OC. We had dinner. In Philly, I've had dinner with OC. Evan G came into Philly for a little bit. Mr. G a few times. OC a few times. Who else was there? Oh, Lucky Bastard Tony.
And just for the first person you mentioned,
this AI is out of fucking control.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, but that was my introduction to the streams was coming through there, So, but I was also the first person banned in the Big Purge. So, I have that badge. But so yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I'll get a hold of Mr. G or OC and just say, like, hey, I'm planning on coming to Philadelphia, and we'll set up a dinner. And the one time I bought a few watches off 1916, so they offered a tour of their place, and we got to be hands-on with a bunch of watches. We just got to ask them for a bunch of watches. So there was like
Did you get to meet the king of skinny wristed bastards?
Mr. G?
No.
Tim.
Oh no, but I did take pictures at his desk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
And but they were so cool, and Tony was there, Lucky Bastard, Mr. G, Evan G, OC, and they there he is. But they let us, we just said, hey, we'd like to see these watches, and they brought out a dozen watches for us to play with, expensive stuff too, And I said, and anything you have in an aqua timer. So they were nice enough to let me wear an aqua timer for a little bit. So that was kind of cool. But it's kind of cool. It's nice that you meet people. I mean, now I know all you guys. We chat in the WhatsApp group and stuff, and that's nice. And Jen comes on my show on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock a.m. And we have a good time, and it's been nice to meet people. But it's been nicer. I always say, if you have a chance to meet people in real life that you've met on these streams, 99% of the people in the watch community are good people.
Yeah.
That I've found. And
Mark is the 1%. Just so you know,
I am the 1%. So if you meet me, you are meeting the 1% of not good.
That is not true.
No, it's totally it's totally worth it if you get a chance to meet up with some people, you know. And honestly, how many of your friends in your life really care about your watches? Most of my friends are just like, why do you like these? Exactly, why do you like these? So it's fun to meet up with people that you can actually discuss it with and have fun, you know. I can't wait. I'm planning a trip to Florida. I want to meet Mathis and Brian and BW and some people down there. Just it's just fun to meet people who share the passion that you have for wristwatches, because it's not a common. It's a small fishbowl.
Yeah, what's cool is when people from out of town come into Austin, and I get to meet them. Like when Tariq flew down and was with family. He's got family here, and so we spent a day together. Kurt and Tariq and I. Young Brando came into town and went and had coffee with him one time. So I mean that's another great part of it is, you know, whenever somebody from out of town just happens to be in my town, I get a call or I get a text and say, hey, why don't we go hang out?
Yeah, that happens all the time here for me too. I'm not like, hey, I've got a friend in Vegas person, you know. So I get those calls all the time, even when I don't expect them. It seems like somebody's always coming.
Layover.
Yeah, somebody's coming to town last minute.
Vegas stays in Vegas, as we all know.
Except for the watches that you bring home.
That's right.
All right.
Everything else can stay.
So we want to welcome in East Wind Farms. Welcome, sir. We're glad you're here. So what I mean, Blake, of all the people on here, you probably know or have met not only people on this stream, but people in the watch industry. I mean, that's your gig,
right?
So walk me through, first of all, kind of how you got into it, and some of the folks that you now call friends that you would have never met had you not been into watches and not chosen. Not only when you sold watches, but now chosen the podcasting creative side of that.
Yeah, I mean, it started off kind of very organically because when my wife was immigrating to the United States, we were going through her paperwork and all this, and it left a lot of free time for me in the evenings. So I was working, you know, in cybersecurity during the day, and then I took a part-time, well, technically a full-time job at a watch retailer. And I was just kind of like, everybody who, you know, obviously we don't see a lot of watch people like in normal life. So I was like, everybody that comes in here is going to be cool. They're going to be a watch guy, you know, whatever. So I looked at it as kind of like, hey, how many friends could I meet? You know, not how many watches I could sell, you know, and that was my perspective. And then, yeah, you know, once you meet a watch guy, it's like, or even a girl, like, it's like you're already in one of the smallest hobbies out there, I'd say. Like watch collecting is not a very big hobby. So you're already like, hey, like you're into watches, I'm into watches, like that's fucking cool. Like whoop, you know, like so you already have that instant connection, right? Like you get the person, they get you.
You can say Retropont and they know what you mean.
Yeah. Or even, you know, tourbillon or complications or what, you know, whatever. Like you can talk about watches, and then to just have people that you can communicate with that understand your passion and are just as passionate as you, because you don't have a lot of people that are like half in, half out of the watch industry or in the community, like enthusiasm side of things. Like you're either fully submerged or you're like, you know, not in it at all. So, yeah, it kind of just spiraled. And then, you know, when I started the podcast, I mean, I don't even know how it got, like I was able to get all these people on. I was so annoying. I was annoying people until they'd come on and leave me alone, or, but yeah, I mean, everybody who I've met has been so welcoming and encouraging and has pushed me, helped me become a better person, not only a collector, but a better human. And yeah, I mean, the watch industry is such one of those rewarding hobbies, you know, it's probably, I mean, at least in my opinion, it's probably the most rewarding. You know, you're wearing functional art, you know, you know, design, you know, and engineering, you know, I mean, what else do you use every day that's over engineered, you know, except for a car and a computer and things like that, you know, phone, but But that's really it, right? So yeah, I like watch collecting.
Yeah, no joke. We all do. It's a fantastic hobby that I really wasn't super into until about 4 years ago. I mean, I'd always had watches, but I really didn't get deep into it until about 4 years ago. And I found it to be one of the most rewarding hobbies I've ever had. Really, really have. Mitch, you've been at it for a while.
Oh yeah.
Tell us your story.
Oh, my story is when I first got involved in watch collecting, I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area in Silicon Valley. And unlike where I am now in the St. Louis metropolitan area, there was a lot of watch activity even 25 years ago. And, there were a few ADs that would constantly have get-togethers. And then there were independent groups of people, some of whom became sort of pretty famous in terms of their position in the watch industry. And so it was very easy to make connections, to see the newest stuff, to be invited to watch dinners at fancy places. And then I moved to New York, and it was even more so. Every week there was some kind of watch dinner by Breguet or Blancpain or Beauvais or Patek or you name it. And the group that I was sort of hanging out with had the juice to be invited to all of these things. And that's how I met and got to know a little bit Jean-Claude Beaver. And once actually called me on a business matter, believe it or not. When I left New York and the Bay Area and wound up here in flyover country, the only thing that sort of regenerated my interest in watch collecting, besides having a budget to do it, I'm not going to go through that story again, but I went through a bunch of years where the economy wasn't in my favor. But the streaming we're doing now sort of became the substitute for these in-person watch events and watch meetups. We don't have a red bar out here. We've got a grand total of 2 jewelry stores that carry decent watches, but are terrible customer service. So I just refuse to deal with them.
Yeah,
I have a good Omega boutique, but that's great for Omega. And so these meetings, getting to know folks like we got here tonight and the other Watch Hangout people and the like, has been really good for keeping the old interest up, because for whatever it's worth, these sorts of activities are almost more interesting to me than the watches themselves at this point.
Yeah. Brian joins us. How are you doing, man?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, you're on. Hello.
Is this thing on?
It is. What's on the wrist this evening, sir?
Oh, well, I'm trying to set it because I thought. Well, I thought, what I'm wearing this. I did the Tea and Tickers show. I did a takeover of the Tea and Tickers show today.
Oh no.
Yeah. So in honor of the Tea and Tickers crew, I was wearing, this London Underground shirt.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, since, it's, got red and blue and white. I have a watch that's got a lot of red and blue, a little bit of red and blue and some white on it.
Yeah. Let me get you full screen here so we can see it.
So I thought I'd put, this.
Oh, well, there you go. A little meteorite Pepsi action.
Oh, just that old thing.
Yeah,
just that old chestnut.
You're right.
And I don't think I've worn it in about a month because it's set for the 26th, but I was just about to set the date, and then you said, "What's on the wrist?" I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit,
well,
I better put it on the wrist." Fine.
And we were talking earlier about Mark in the Tim Masso studio, and there he is.
He had gotten a new bicycle the day before, and he was out riding. He didn't come in that day.
He heard some YouTuber was there, and he was like, "I'm not talking to that guy."
They let Tommaso work out. I would be afraid he'd disappear if he worked out. Not much to him.
So, Brian, I'm sure you've been listening in the background before you got on, but we're talking about stories, the connections we've made just because of watch collecting, both online connections and personal connections, people you would have never met without being a watch collector.
People I wish I never met, like Gen G.
Yeah, those people.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So before we get to
I'll send you the list of things you can buy tonight later.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. You're doing that for him and Nate?
Oh yeah. It's a part-time, full-time job.
Terrible.
Jen sits outside the methadone clinic handing out heroin.
No, I don't. I hand out watches outside of the Rolex.
We do want to say welcome to Caliber YQG in the house. Really happy that you are here as well. We will remind people before we get to Jen's story, because I want to hear this as well, that we're going to do a couple of unboxings tonight. So if you could get those upvotes in, that would be greatly appreciated. We have 20 upvotes now. So right after Jen's story, I'll do my unboxing because it's small. It's a little one. But then we have
you're downplaying it. It's a cool unboxing.
It's a cool unboxing, but it's not mega or anything.
It doesn't have to be like mega dollars to be a mega unboxing.
That's right.
But then we have arrival. I have to add that Brian's arrival on the panel reminded me that pipe collecting in a lot of ways is very similar to watch collecting.
Yeah.
In terms of the relationships. I mean, I even knew Brian way before you guys did.
Yeah.
We both had hair back then.
Yes, true. It's
wow. So it was like 3 weeks ago, right?
Speaking of that, Mitch, I came across a picture of me and Bob Calloway from 2002. I was like,
oh man.
Mitch and I could speak in code, and you guys would be clueless.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm like, okay.
No. It's a pipe thing, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Am I right about that? At least it's a pipe thing.
So the Jean-Claude Biver of pipes.
No.
No, just a happy, sweet, wonderful guy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Mitch, you need to get JCB on the show. He'd be fun. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we break the YouTube live watch.
That's right. That's right. And speaking of Mitch, he's got the other big unboxing this evening, and it's a goodie. So we want to get those upvotes continuing in. We've already got 20, so I'll do mine at 20. Let's see if we can't get at least 35 for Mitch's, because it's certainly worth that.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. But Jen, what got you into watch collecting? I know that you're learning how to service and work on movements. That's maybe something you want to do in the future. You're also a really talented artist, judging by the painting that I have behind me from Gen G of the Daytona.
And I've got 2 watches.
Yeah, he's got 2 watches that she painted the dials. So tell us a little bit about the connections you've made in watch collecting, what got you into it, and that kind of stuff.
Well, I got into this whole crazy YouTube sphere. It would have been like Valentine's Day last year, I think.
Oh, okay. It's not very long.
And there was I think it was the Phillips auction, actually. So it would have been almost it was one of those auctions. And OC was actually going to bid on a world timer. And I was like, well, I've never seen anybody actually live bid in one of these auctions. I think it'd be kind of cool. So I like pulled it up and was watching. And of course he didn't get his watch. Somebody outbid him. So, but we were just, watching all the people come through, and that's how I kind of found out about those streams. And so one day they were talking about something like, what watch do you think you should wear to get women? And my response was, do you want her to be your friend or your girlfriend? Because there's a difference. And they're like, okay, you got to get on if you're going to say that. Get on. I was like, listen, if you want her to borrow your watch, there's a difference. So that's kind of how I met that crew. I was on there for a little while, and I met you guys as well. I popped over, and I had seen one of the streams with Marco way before then. He had stopped in one day, and it was like JJ and you guys and him just shooting the shit, and so that's kind of how I found out about you guys. And I mean, it's adjacent communities, so a lot of it's crossover and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how I got here. But I've always loved watches since I was a kid. I've always tried to work on watches, whether I was good at it or not. My mother, she was always fearful of me getting anywhere near a watch because she had a Mickey Mouse Timex that I decided to take apart when I was a kid. And yeah, I killed the hairspring. Like it was just, there was no hope for it. It was gone.
Yep.
And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll put it back together. So, but I've always wanted to work on them. I've always, mechanical stuff, very fascinating. I was a mechanic, so that kind of tells you how far into it I like to get. And so, yeah, I'm looking at working on watches and at Rolex, and in that process, I met Elena Grace Diaz. I don't know if you know who she is. She is a watchmaker based out of Seattle. She was one of the professors at the watch school out in Seattle for a while. But she travels all over the place. She's part of the Watchmaking Society of America or something. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's based, here out of Ohio, but she's on the board. And so I caught like a YouTube video of a panel that she did, and I found her on Instagram. I just shot her a message and was like, hey, I'm looking to do this. Like, what do you think? And she has like totally been a huge ally and a cheerleader for me, and has given me a bunch of information. She's helped me with my application letters and stuff. And yeah, it's been amazing. Nice. Some of the people, and Cased in Time, I've talked to him a little bit just about the painting stuff. So I've got to meet the dial artist. And yeah, people like Miss GMT and the wrist chick, all of them, they're good folks.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very cool. We want to welcome in Respectably Late from the land down under. He's listening while driving between schools. So, hey, man, good to have you in here. We appreciate you being in here. And drive safe. We'll try not to say anything that'll force you off the road. So we've got a couple of unboxings tonight. So I'll start with mine. I was looking for a summer watch, so a kind of brightly colored watch that was waterproof enough to wear at the pool and wear at the beach, something that was light and comfortable, something that I didn't really care if it got banged up and, got sand all over it and everything. So I was perusing around websites and I saw a watch, and the watch, when it first came out I think it was last summer, wasn't it, Blake, that these came out, or was it 2024? 23 rather.
I think it's probably a little sooner, like 2022, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a couple years, I think.
Yeah, but these things were $800, way overpriced for what they are. Way overpriced for what they are. But when you can find that $800 watch for under $200, then it's not overpriced for what it is. So here is the box. And it is a Maurice Lacroix. And
it looks like a time and tide. It has their little hashtag on there.
It's a Tide watch made out of recycled ocean plastic. But this thing is interesting because it's the first watch I've ever gotten that comes with its own merch. So first of all, you get this little bag.
Okay,
that's kind of cool, right? And then you open it up. So we'll get that bag opened up here.
Yes, 2023.
Yeah.
And why can't Patek Philippe do that for what you pay them? They should give you like a hand-stitched leather Hermes bag.
So that is the watch box.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's also a coffee mug.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sold. I want 3 of them now.
You can get them on ashford.com. They are you get an extra 10 to 15% discount depending on which one, and they're almost all of them under $200.
Now playing the part of Gen G is Robert Wood.
I know. See, it wasn't me this time.
You take the top off, and there is the watch.
Very cool.
Wow.
And I will take it out, and we'll get it close up on the camera so you guys can see. It has a little wave dial on it, and it's a screw-down crown, 100 meters of water resistance, so it's perfect for the swimming pool, the beach, anywhere you're going to be around water. It will handle it. It's just a little quartz watch,
and
but
it's yellow.
I think it's freaking cool. Yeah, and they've got all
It's
different kind of colors. So let me get that on there so you can
Oh yeah,
see it up close.
Make it full screen.
Make yourself big.
Yeah, okay. Y'all are asking an awful lot of me.
I know.
There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
So that's
Yeah, it's a perfect little like summer beater, man.
Yeah. And it's very light, very comfortable on the wrist. It looks nice. And like I say, the price was freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, down to $161.49.
Yeah, for this one.
Nice.
For the yellow one, yeah.
The blue one's $8 more.
Yeah, with tax and everything, it's
too much.
I think,
when you said something about it and I started looking on the website, I was like, oh, the black one, of course, is like 300 or like
but I mean
350 or whatever.
If you're looking for a fun little summer watch, who wants black?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you get a black watch, you can wear it all year, though, right?
Yeah.
You can wear a black and gold.
75 watches.
Yeah, I know.
You can wear all year round.
I've got
you can wear any of them all year round, I think.
I've got plenty of black watches I can wear all year round, but I didn't have a yellow that's going to look cool when I'm sitting at the beach.
I know, right?
Is that an AP there?
Is that
Is that an AP there?
Right. That's right. It's
an ingenue.
Robert, does that color match your Speedo?
my Speedo's actually blue, but I think blue and yellow match. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
It's important to coordinate, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Absolutely. I'm always coordinated, man. Let me tell you.
Come to Pittsburgh. We'll go to a Penguin game. You can wear your black and gold watch.
But yeah, I thought it was cool, and I really liked the fact. And when I saw a picture of the box that they have on the website, it looked to me like it was more of a a G-Shock metal tin kind of looking thing. But when I opened it for the first time today and got it out, it was like, wow, that's a freaking coffee cup. I mean, I can use this at work.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That's awesome. So
that's a great idea for packaging.
Yeah, that's going to get its first cup of coffee in the morning when I wake up.
Hey, there's also one that's kind of like a lime green and white with little diamond-esque cut markers.
Yeah, diamond markers.
Yeah.
I said diamond-esque.
Yeah.
Whatever they're made from.
For $200, I don't think they're diamonds.
Yeah. Well, they were $700 though, to be fair.
It
They
could have
were,
been
yeah,
background.
between 7 and 8. I've seen some for 8, but I've seen I checked Chrono 24 just to see, what do these things sell in secondary now? And there's still people asking $350, $400 for the things.
Yeah. There's an interesting story behind those watches that so I was fortunate enough to have the CEO of Marisa Qual on my podcast, and we talked about the whole Tide launch and them trying to cater to like a newer collector, like a first time collector, trying to get in under $1,000, especially considering overseas, because Maurice Lacroix is one of those brands that over here, I mean, I feel like they're underappreciated. But in Europe and in Asia, I mean, they're Maurice Lacroix. Like when I was in Turkey in October, there's a Maurice Lacroix dealer in every corner in Turkey. It's crazy. Like, I mean, they're like McDonald's out there, like Maurice Lacroix dealers. So yeah. I mean, he talked about trying to tap into like a newer customer, a conscious customer, who's all about, protecting the environment and all that. And boom, the Tide was born, so.
Yeah, and I've always liked the look of this watch, the steel version of this watch. I never really, because of the initial price, I never really thought about getting the plastic version, right?
Right.
But man, I just happened to see, and what I was doing is I was going to like all the gray sites like Ashford and Joma and all, and I was just doing a search for yellow dial watch just to see what came up. And I'm on Ashford and this comes up. What kind of started it all is the new yellow dial Seiko that's coming out next month, the new Seiko 5. I thought about getting that as my summer watch and putting a yellow rubber strap on it.
Okay.
But then I thought, I've already got too many damn Seikos. It's the last thing I need is another freaking Seiko. Let's look for something else. And then this kind of fell in my lap.
So if the
I'm sorry, I'd like to institute a ban on the word need on any of these streams.
I'm sorry, want.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So if Moonswatch and AP had a baby, it'd be the Tide.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
Yeah, and Brian, if how big is your wrist?
6 3/4.
Oh, okay, this will fit you fine. I was going to say if you're much above 7.5.
No.
The bracelet is not going to fit because this I have it in the second hole, so it would be tight if you're much above a 7.5.
Yeah, no, summertime here, 2 links out of a Rolex Oyster, and I'm good. So no, I'm late. I have delicate sized wrists.
Well, you're a delicate sized person.
Yeah, I'm doing an event with Maurice Lacroix in 2 weeks, and the CEO is going to be in town, where he's now the international managing partner or something. He got a title change, but we'll be here. We've got a private venue that we booked out, and I think they're giving away a watch too. I told them to give away a watch. I don't know if they listen to me, but you know what I mean. So.
Well, they're giving them away right now for $200.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I told you guys on the pre-show, I had a Maurice Lacroix day date Pontos that I had for over 20 years.
They're awesome watches.
We just ran. It was a ETA or a Salida. I can't even remember what the moon was. Had an exhibition back, day date, white dial. It was a cool watch. It was my backup watch for like 21 years.
I mean, their whole thing is like accessible, like luxury quality. They don't need to be something crazy. But then you see some of the stuff, like they have the mysterious seconds. What is it? The mysterious seconds? You guys seen that where the second hand just like goes all like.
Yeah.
I mean, and we also have the skeleton. I can't think of what it is with their in-house. I mean, it's a crazy.
Yeah, they had some of their icons.
Yep.
Were interesting.
Yeah, I mean they're awesome. They're an awesome watchmaker, and they've got an awesome team behind the brand too. Which I guess kind of going back to the topic here. When you're, I guess, working with some of these watch brands, you get to kind of meet the people that kind of like fuel the flame, of the brand. And there's a great team behind that brand. And I think this year or maybe next year or sometime soon, I think now. They just brought on this new lady, Marcia, and she was like an OG in the watch industry. Like she was at Tag or at Heuer before it was Tag Heuer, and she's stepping into the role now to help kind of bring awareness and grow their accounts. And I really think
I knew a Marcia who used to be the president of Longa USA. I don't know if it's the same person.
her name is Marcia Macuzzi.
Okay, it's a different.
I don't know. She worked at Tag. She worked at IWC. I mean, she's been around.
Marcia worked at IWC also.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's the same person, and I'm just screwing up the pronunciation.
She was in LA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's worked at IWC. Like, she worked at Tag. I mean, she's been around. She's been around.
Yeah, she's the person. If it's the same person, she's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh, amazing.
So we've got a super chat from Ryan Hofrey, $2, and that reminds me, I haven't even pitched the race tonight. We got the race tonight, so hey, we're racing. So if you want to get into the race and join Ryan in the race, get those super chats, member chats, join the channel, gift memberships, member milestone chats. I may have already said that. But any of those ways will get you for sure in the race. We'll pick a couple of free entries at the end as well. Inquiring JLC fans want to see the duometry ASAP, Mitch.
Well, I'm going to disappoint people, but the duometry was sacrificed to get that Piguet.
Oh.
Duometry.
Just a reminder, Ryan. There's no refunds.
That's right.
Sorry about that, man.
I'll start getting hate mail.
Nah.
Brian is starting already.
We thank John for being in here. Great price on that watch versus the yellow dialed Tag F1 Chrono, which, yes, you're right. It's $2,500. You can actually get them used for, what did I see them used for? 1,800.
You can pick up an older one for even cheaper than that.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's a great summertime watch as well. I would worry about the water ingress since it's a chrono. Chronos freak me out taking them underwater with all those pushers. But it would be a great, just if you're wearing it around town. Yeah, I wouldn't take it to the beach or swimming pool, but yeah, hell of a good looking watch. We have
if you have hate mail for Mitch, you can send that to JJSW, care of JJ's mom's basement, Staten Island, New York.
Thomas, I'm assuming you're talking about mine, the new watch. What was my psychology in making that choice other than the money? I just wanted something fun, bright yellow, water resistant to wear around this summer when I go to the beach, because I go to the beach 3 or 4 times during the summer, go to the swimming pool on the weekends because I've got 2 pools here at the apartment complex to choose from. They're both really nice pools, so I like to hang out there on the weekends. I just wanted something fun that's not going to, murder me in the bank. And I saw this and I said, well, hell, that's fun. And I like the styling. I've liked the styling of the Icon for a long time. And I'm like, hey, I think that'll work. And it does have a screw down crown. So it's, it has a screw down crown. So I'm perfectly comfortable taking it in the water.
There you go.
So there you go. That's it. Ryan, goodbye, amazing JLC. Yes, sir. Oh my. Oh, and Thomas Broadbent said it was directed to Mitch as far as the psychology of getting rid of the JLC.
I think that the Piguet has more interesting horological significance.
There you go.
I did actually check with Marcia, and yeah, it's the same person. She was at Longa for 9.5 years.
Yep.
Did you call her recently?
No.
Oh, okay. She said, "Oh, I'm in Phoenix, sitting, getting ready to push back to LA right now. I'll call Mitch tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Hey, you can give her my number too. I don't know why, but go ahead.
Marcia was cool when she was the IWC rep. I had just bought the original Big Pilot watch, and she happened to be at the AD, and I took it out of the box, and it was dead on arrival.
Oh no!
And she just had them replace it right then and there. Didn't have to send it to IWC repair. You know,
that's
which
what
is the way to handle that.
So weirdly enough, like the company that owns Maurice Lacroix, they're like a multi-billion-dollar company, but they're not in the watch industry. They're in, I think it's silk trading. Like they have like silk manufacturing or something like that. I mean, Mark may know. I mean, shaking his head like he knows what I'm talking about.
I've heard that. I've heard that they were in silk and other commodity kind of things.
Yeah. So
they make silky boxes.
So the watch industry is a very weird industry, especially for companies that don't know how to operate. They don't get the market. You know, they just know, hey, there's a quality product here. Let's try and sell it. But it's a lot more competitive, I can imagine, than, you know, that other industry. But
there was way back about 20 years ago now, I was working on a big consulting project for a Swiss holding company. And if you looked at the companies that they held, you would scratch your head and go, what the whatever are they thinking? Because they owned semiconductor production equipment companies, hotels, newspapers, and
diversify, man.
company.
Gotta diversify.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I worked for a pipe tobacco company out of Denmark, and the owner of the tobacco company got tired of his guests coming into town and staying at one of the two Real Choice, you know, the two hotels there. Didn't like them, so he bought them both. And then he was complaining that the newspaper wasn't getting delivered regularly or on time, and there were some editorial issues with the newspaper. So he bought the newspaper.
Nice.
I love it.
That's one way to solve problems.
So newspaper, hotels, he had a couple of boats, and then a tobacco company, all one.
Weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know this brand that Thomas is bringing up. Do anybody know this brand?
Mabusin?
Yeah, I don't know it. We're stuck on that one, Thomas. Sorry. So Brian, let's talk about let's hear your story about not only how you got into watch collecting, but where it's led you. I mean, you obviously do both the watches and the pipes. You do live streams for both. Let's talk about kind of how you got into all of this in the first place. What led you to watches?
Well, I had too much money and I wanted to lose it. So the stock market was the simple way.
Yeah. Watches are the hard way.
Yeah. So I grew up in, I'm a child of the 80s and the early 90s and stuff. And greed is good. Flashy and trashy. Bigger is better. It's funny. The first time I had a realization about watches besides I knew Rolex, I knew Tag, Breitling, I knew those things. I was working in Beverly Hills at the Dunhill store, and I went to go take a break and go buy a silver frame for my wife for Mother's Day from one of these fancy jewelry stores down the street. And I think I was going to spend like $40 or $50 on the frame, and that was big. I mean, we were squeezing the shit out of it. Lincoln was crying every time I picked him up. We were squeezing pennies so much. But I get in there and there's a manufacturer's rep that's talking to some of the salespeople, and I'm looking and it's watches, and they're cool and they're really fancy. And Dunhill had some watches, and so I was learning. And the guy said, "Can I show you this?" And I said, I just work up the street. I'm just down here. And he said, "Well, great. Can I use you as an example of how to show the watch?" I said, "Sure, fine." Takes my wrist. Skeletonized gold watch. I don't know anything about it. He's showing how to put it on me, how to put it on the client, and the features of it. And he says, "Yeah, you want to express to them this, that, and the other." Anyway, so I looked at them and I said, "Can you tell me about this watch? What do I have on my arm?" He said, "Let's say a Vacheron Constantin manual wine, whatever, gold watch." And I said, "Okay, great. How much does this retail for?" And he said it was like $62,000. I said, "Can you do me a favor and take it off, please?"
Yes.
So like watches and the thing with pipes, and let me speak seriously, no joking. One of the things that I love about pipes is that a pipe tells a story, and a watch tells a story, and the price doesn't matter as long as there's a story and an emotion from the story. This is a pipe that I got from a guy that was a U.S. Army dentist, and he bought it in London in 1956. And it's a Camoys specimen straight grain, which means nothing to any of you except for Mitch. But it's just an old, rare pipe that was made in England during a time when pipes were super popular. And because I know the guy that bought it and picked it out, and it has a story behind it, and I love that. Same thing with watches. Watches have a story behind them. They evoke emotions. Your pool watch there is going to make you happy, and and even during the winter time, if you look at it and go, "Oh, I remember that time at the pool when I wore that." And, it's a feeling. And then about so all through the early 2000s and 2010, I always had a few little Swiss watches. I had some, I had a thing for Oris for a while. In fact, Mark and I were talking about it on Sunday morning. I found the one that I had, and it's it's available for $999. Got involved in ball watches because I like railroading. Had the Hamilton, had the stuff. And then all of a sudden I had money. I was like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Oh boy.
So I started in like 2016, 2015. I really started looking and going on to YouTube and learning about watches and learning about the next step and learning about the dealers and learning about this or that. Just so that I was a more educated buyer, so that I wouldn't make nearly as many mistakes as I did. And then once it seemed like every time I was watching YouTube videos, if I walked away after a while, YouTube and the algorithm would just continuously play. And next thing I would hear is this Australian guy who was yelling at people, and it sounded like a blender was going off or the garbage disposal was running. And that's when I found the live streams. And then I got involved in them. And the best part of the live streams is sharing what other people are looking at, finding out what they're looking at, finding what they're thinking about, discussing them, seeing them. Somebody opening up a watch on a live stream, doing an unboxing, and then you can ask specifics about it is fantastic, because I've lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and in Orlando, Florida since I started buying watches. Well, it's almost like I've lived in a deserted island for watches beyond Rolex and a couple other things.
Join me on the deserted island, Ryan.
Yeah. I'm in a flyover state. Except if you've got kids and you want to go see a giant mouse. Now, but it's anytime we travel, Las Vegas, my wife knew if we were going to Vegas, we were spending at least a half a day doing my AD route to go try stuff on and terrorize her. But a lot of my watch knowledge has come from the Carolina Watch Club was really good. when I lived there, and then coming to, going on these streams and learning and listening and hearing and asking, and then teasing people about the fact that they sell Jeeps that, the most important factor about buying a Jeep is how comfortable are the seats in the service area.
Yeah. I almost bought a Jeep before I got my Audi, and boy, I'm glad I got the Audi.
And in reality, I'm very lucky that I have other things going on in my life, so I'm not a 24-hour YouTube live streamer, and I've got other stuff going on. And when the live streams turn into things that I don't like, I just go away and go into something else. And then when I find people that I like, I might even get up early on Sunday morning to hang out with them.
Oh my God.
Oh no, that would be
Shocking.
Mark, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a couple of new people in. Nerd with Swag, glad you're in here as well. Let's see. I saw somebody else do, didn't I?
I even met up with Dirk Diggler and had drinks and watched the fireworks with him.
Hey, look at that.
It was very romantic.
I'm sure.
So if you come into Orlando, holler.
And Thelonious Monk is in here as well. We want to welcome him. Let's see. This is Blake. Where would you put Mula's quality as in, I guess, Mula Glasuta?
Yeah.
Under Zen, but above Laco.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I mean, I think Mule Glasuta, their watches are incredibly done.
They make some nice looking stuff.
I think they might be right up there with Sin, to be honest.
I think Laco does a few more interesting things and plays around with materials more than.
That's the thing. So when you say Laco, there's the floor of Laco, and then there's the sky of Laco. So
broad spectrum.
Yeah, I would say they're right up there with Sin. In my opinion, because I have the rescue timer in my collection, and I think that thing is probably one of the more rugged watches that I've ever owned. So yeah, they're amazing watches. But in terms of the spectrum and rating them, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. So.
$5 super chat from Thelonious Monk. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you for that. We'll get you into the race as well. There's a post on Watch Crunch about someone who got hit with a $2,200 tariff bill on a $3,000 Vulcane chrono. In my opinion, that is not sustainable. No. Are the micros doomed? It depends on, first of all, is the micro a U.S. micro? In that case, their watches aren't going to face a tariff, but most of the micros around the world, including in the U.S., get a lot of parts from overseas. Mm-hmm. So, it's definitely going to have a huge impact on them. There's no doubt about that.
Thelonious, the one thing that I would say is if you ordered a watch during that time from China,
just cancel it. Reorder
it. The tariffs aren't that high now. You're up to about 30% is about what it's coming out to now. That was at 145 at one point, and that would explain that kind of tariff.
Yeah.
So yeah, ordering a watch at that time was just bad choices.
But a Vulcane is I would assume it's coming from Europe. Because Vulcane's a Swiss brand. I wouldn't think, unless he bought it from a Chinese retailer or something, but
from China.
Yeah, I would fact check that story. That's a little high for me to believe, especially on a Vulcane, like they were saying. If it's from Switzerland, our tariffs were never that high with them.
Yeah,
they were 10%, 30 to 10%.
I think so. I think at one point they were talking about bumping it up to 30, but that got put on hold, I thought. So it was still just 10. So I don't know. But it sounds like that the poster may have either misheard or inflated the number or something. I don't know. But
I don't know. The only thing that dawns on me is that if it got drop shipped direct from the producing factory in China.
Yeah, I don't think Vulcane does that though.
I
don't know.
Do we really need to open up this can of Vulcane worms right now?
Hey,
No.
don't hate on Vulcane.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I like Vulcane.
I do too.
I did too.
Don't go volcanic on them.
You did too. That's
Blake's
the
just
key
bitter.
word there.
Well, I like what they're doing. I like the design language, but I mean, if you're selling a product, like you need to stand behind your product, and you're selling watches here. You're not selling sneakers or something like that. Like you really need to have the back infrastructure in place. And I mean, I've talked about, I think on other streams, just watches being a shell of what they used to be, and that's what Vulcane is, I think. So respectfully.
Blake, found your last podcast very interesting. Got swag with my Erebus Ascent purchase: hat, shirt, torch, or a flashlight for those of us in the West, and a bottle opener. Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Jody took care of you there, I tell you. Well, Jody's a cool guy. We've had him on the show before. I want to get him back on the show one of these days soon, because we had a great time with him. And his watch company is just taking off like gangbusters. Erebus is doing some great things. They sold out of their very high accuracy quartz in an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible.
Have you guys seen the rare red bezel all red bezel Rolex Pepsi?
No. Oh, yeah. There you go.
All red. Oh.
I like that. And that's a hell of a good looking watch. You're the second person on this channel that has that watch. Of course, JJ has it as well. I'm not sure who else has it. That was another thing I was thinking of, is who else has flown into town that I've met? That would be Marco. Marco and Kurt and I had a nice dinner. That was fun. Again, somebody I would never know were it not for watches. I think that's what makes this hobby really fun and cool and somewhat different than other hobbies.
Yeah.
And, a lot of hobbies are things you just do on your own for fun. This is something that, yes, you can do it on your own for fun, but you can also really make some connections in it, which is kind of what we're talking about tonight.
When I had my heart attack, these guys were people that I talked to during that whole process. They reached out to me as well. So
yeah, I've given you fantastic heart advice, because you're lucky you didn't have to have the surgery. Because that's horrible. You'd still be in pain.
It's like in the Watch Hangout Medical Center.
Yes. Speaking of which, we hope Nate is feeling better out there as well. Nate's recovering from stuff, so he couldn't be on this evening, but I'm sure he's probably out there watching, and we hope he gets better really quick. We've got a member chat from Tariq. What's up, Tuesday crew? Hop on if you want to, Tariq, if the kids are in bed already. Love to have you on and talk about what watches have meant to you. Same with you, Trap Vision. Welcome in.
Put them in the sleeper hold. Come on, Tariq.
Have you guys seen the What's Up? I think our mystery guest is going to make an appearance this evening.
Oh, good.
All right.
Well, I'm glad she'll have a chance to stop by, because I know she was at an event earlier, and she said she would try to stop by if she got back on time. So we've got about 25, 30 minutes left. So hopefully she can make it in on time.
She said she'll be back at her hotel in 5 minutes, and that was about 5 minutes ago. So
great.
Any moment.
Would you make sure she has the link? Actually,
I did already.
The link's in the room, so she should be able to get it.
Yep. I refreshed it for her.
So let me get Tariq added to the race list. So there's that.
You got the little one in a sleeper hold.
Good job. That's some great parenting right there. And Trap, same with you. If you want to hop on for a little bit, I'll put the link out there so it's easier to find, since I can't in the link on this YouTube page. Put it on there. Anybody's welcome to jump on and tell us your story about kind of your collection story, the kind of connections you've made during your collection story, why you think it's kind of different to collect watches than anything else just because of the personal connections you can make with people. Brian was saying that not only is watch collecting like that, but also his pipe collection is very much like that. That he's met a lot of people through that. We've got a $2 super chat from AB. Tell Marco to keep the great white. I agree. If you're not in our WhatsApp group, you wouldn't know what you're talking about. But Marco's been testing out an Omega Great White, and it looks great. But he's thinking about not keeping it.
Yeah, he needs to keep it and throw it on a red strap.
There you go.
That would be snazzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be snazzy. Let me get AB in our race list.
Burb. Wearing a nice watch makes being ghosted less painful.
There you go.
I'm curious, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot for the past, maybe 6 to 8 months. But if I could tell the most meaningful person in the world about my passion for watches, how would I do that? It came up and somebody posed that question to me. They're like, "Oh, wait till you have kids and you try and explain to your kids, the watch community and your passion and this and that." And then I don't have an answer, but it's something I think about.
I don't either right off the top of my head.
Well, I've done that a few times, and I always tend to reach back for the union of art, science, and engineering. Now, there are very few things that can cover all of those bases.
Yeah.
In terms of a device that uses, springs and gears to measure time extremely accurately. I mean, even though it's not quartz movements, the error is like 0.1%.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of meant the camaraderie, the passion, the enthusiasm that we all have, that we all share.
What's interesting, Blake, is that when you wear a watch out in public and you see somebody else that's got something that's beyond the ordinary, I'm sorry if you like your black Submariner, or if you like your two-tone sub or whatever, or just a Datejust. Those are great watches, but that doesn't pique my interest when I see it.
Right.
When I see something that's a little off the beaten path, a little abnormal, then I automatically know I've got a bit of a possible connection with the person.
Yeah, that's
I was going to say, go ahead, Blake, and then I'll tell my story here.
Oh, I was just going to enhance on that, because non-watch guys wear Rolexes, but I had a conversation with somebody at Zenith, and I was talking a lot about Zenith is an enthusiast brand. You don't see somebody who doesn't know anything about watches wearing a Zenith watch, but you do see somebody wearing a Rolex who doesn't know shit about Rolexes or shit about watches.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely gravitate towards people who have those affinities towards those, more collectorish, passionate brands,
I would describe it like it's a rehab facility, and we're all the patients, and we are in rehab together.
Hi.
And we have the wrist chick joining us.
Oh shit! Now who the hell am I going to flirt with? God damn it! There's too many.
No, yeah, it's tough.
You can keep flirting with me, Brian.
Okay.
Brian's blushing now, so he's got to go on camera.
Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. I tried to leave, but it's like you say goodbye how many times and you can't get out of places. So
well, so where you were at a watch event is kind of perfect for what we're talking about tonight, and that was the kind of connections, personal connections that you make while you're watch collecting, and how big a part of that is you know, the reason you make these personal connections is because of watches.
Yeah.
I don't know of very many hobbies where you can actually do that. But we're talking about the kind of connections we made, how we got into collecting in the first place, and kind of what's the best part about all of these personal connections you make while you're going through the watch collecting biz.
Yeah, no, that's a great topic. I mean, that's like what it's all about for me. It's like, the watches are great and all, but for me, it's the whole experience around it, the people, and just even through my social media, that's what I try to show, is the whole life around it, all the people you get to meet, the travel, all that stuff. So I've met so many amazing people through all this. So, and
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, but if you weren't into watches, the way I look at it too is if you weren't into watches, you wouldn't know any of these people. I mean, how cool is that this little tiny thing that you wear on your wrist has given you this whole world of new friends?
Exactly. And you can go anywhere in the world. And for me, it's given me opportunities to travel, which is what I love to do. And, anywhere you go, you just look at someone's wrist and you can just immediately start a conversation. And I mean, I met probably 200 people tonight, and now everybody's exchanging numbers and thing, who does this for a living? Oh, I'll help you out with that. So it's just because of watches. So it's pretty cool.
What event are you at? Did you share?
I won't dox myself, but it's
okay. Sorry to put
I
you out there.
It in a little bit. So
okay.
Yeah, but it was a watch meetup more so. With the community. So
very nice. So we also have Trap Vision joining us, our man Trap. How are you doing, brother? Appreciate you being here.
Good, man. Good, bro. This is right up my alley, man.
Yeah, because yeah, and so tell us your story, because I think it's very interesting. Did it start when you were in the military, or was it even before you were in the military to when you got into watches?
It's actually when I was a kid, man. So I told this story. My mom worked at O'Hare Field, so there's so many people that's coming back and forth. And truth be told, the Daytona was the first watch that I fell in love with. Right, this guy had it was a stainless steel blue Daytona and beautiful watch. And I just stared at my mother, was like, "Leave that man alone." He said, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." And he said it was a Rolex Daytona, whatever the case was. That didn't mean nothing to me because I was so young. And my mother was talking to my godfather, which was a police officer. He was a police chief in Chicago. And he had Omegas, he had Rolexes, he had some Timexes. And he said, "Okay, I'll tell you what." He broke it down to where he let me see Star Wars for the first time. Right. So I was in love with that. And my first watch that he bought me was actually Star Wars digital. And I love this watch so much to where I got in trouble at school. And my teacher tried to take it. I was like, "Look, you're going to have to whoop me about this because you're not getting this watch." And from there, I got in trouble because my mother beat me down. But from there, my mother saw how much I was in love with it. So my mother had Citizen, and my dad had Seiko and Timex, which I have my dad's Timex around here somewhere. So from there, I just loved it, right? And I would have never known or never thought in my wildest dreams that fast forwarding, I remember in high school, it wasn't really cool to wear an analog watch unless you had like a G-Shock, you good. But I wore an actual watch, right? And I just got talked about. I didn't care. I loved it because I used to just sit and stare at it, just like watching the sweeping motion. But fast forward into 2018. Well, military, of course. I actually have my a watch that I got blown up in twice. It still works. You know what I'm saying? So it's a Casio, and that's what I gravitate towards Casio so much because I know what they could take. I know people throw them off buildings. I actually survived 2 explosions in mine. It's still it was in better shape than I was. Right. Wow. So the thing about it with watches, man, is it really takes you to a different. I don't know, man. For me, I just love it, and the fact that we're looking at a device that controls or it shows you an element you have no control over because time is beating the brakes off all of us. You know what I'm saying? So that thing will last forever. But I was listening to your testimony. I started my channel off of Invicta watches. I've been to cruises. I've been to multiple like events. I've been to Times Square. I got the MC out there, and I've ran into so many people. Only thing I haven't been right now was overseas because of watches, but I've been all over the States, man. Going to different events, going to different wind-ups and intersects and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I wouldn't have met half the people. I wouldn't even be on the Watch Hangout because I started watching you guys, and I was like, you know what, this is one of the few streamings that I love the conversation you guys have, and I kind of laugh at when JJ is getting picked on other channels. Not trying to bring up no mess, but I couldn't get with all the other stuff. I said, let's get to watches, and you guys talk watches. You know what I'm saying? So and I love and Jen. I remember Jen when I was like, okay. I didn't know she was in there, and I remember the first time I came on, I said, hey, what's going on, fellas? That's why I started saying watch people, because Jim was in there, and I said, oh, crap, there's a lady in here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and listen, I identify as confused.
Yeah. So we have 4 or 5 guys, 2 women, and 1 confused.
There you go.
That's Brian.
The party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and Travis, let me ask you, because Travis and I have gotten to know each other over the last year or so. I saw his channel and messaged him. We now text each other back and forth all the time. Travis, fantastic person, wonderful guy. Again, somebody I would have never met without watches. That's the whole thing. We have a couple of super chats to get to. Duco, $5, made some great friends in the watch world, but these friends are expensive to keep up with. You ain't joking.
Right?
And
I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you a life lesson of enjoy your watches and appreciate your watches.
Yeah,
because I went to one dinner and some of the people that were there included George Varghese and Cars and Chrono. So just remember your Star Wars line in episode 1. There's always a bigger fish.
Yep.
So I don't give a shit if it's a $10 watch or whatever. As long as you enjoy it. But don't try to keep up with some of these people because my God.
That's for damn sure. Speaking of big fish, it's Skylar Santana in the chat, $5. What an amazing group of enthusiasts we have here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You hop on too. The link is up there somewhere. But Skylar, good to see you in the chat this evening. I didn't ask Miss Wrist Chick, what is on the wrist this evening?
I have my Rolex GMT Master 16750.
Nice.
From 1983.
The black.
Black, matte dial, aluminum bezel insert, all original parts in really good condition. So I wanted this specific one, and I hunted and I found it. So
you're gonna make Duco really, really jealous, because Duco used to have a black, and he wants to get another one at some point because he sold it. But there you go, Duco. There's your black.
Try to buy this off of me when I've only had this not even a month, and within 1 week, because it was someone's birth year watch, and they offered me like an obscene amount of money, and I said no, because I actually know the value of this watch, and they're harder to find when they're all original. And I was like, no, I love this, and it's for me. This is the watch I want. And you can flash the money around, but he's like, call me when you're out of the honeymoon stage. I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, whatever. Trap, should I ask what's on your wrist this evening?
Oh, bro, man, I'm rocking my glycine, bro.
I love that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On that Montrose strap. I absolutely love this. Here's a story. This guy, his name is Doug. And Doug, I on my second deployment, he worked with me in property book, and my job was to train soldiers, just like search for certain things over there. Plus, I was ordering all their gear. And Doug was helping me. He was showing me how to do property book. And they asked me, they said, hey, you know the story about Doug? I said, nah. So he has a Purple Heart, but he really don't want to talk about it. I was like, okay. So I said, Doug, I don't want to hear the story from anybody else, man. Just tell me. He said, well, if I must. I said, you must. and he was a gunner in a helicopter in Vietnam, and they witnessed one of the helicopters getting shot down. So they were supplying cover for another helicopter to come in, but the other chopper was so far out, so they lowered down because these guys are getting chewed up. So their helicopter gets knocked down, and it landed such a way to where they was kind of tilted. He couldn't shoot at like the tree line. He takes the gun off and runs over there supplying cover for these guys. He takes, I think, 6 shots, 2 in the hip, the whole 9, right? He gets the guys come back, didn't know he was hit till he got back on the helicopter. Other chopper comes in, saves everybody, flies off. And he gets back, when he gets back to the base, that's when he found out, hey man, his hip was shattered. So he went through surgery the whole 9, and he had the watch on that he wore in Vietnam, and it was actually this one.
Wow.
It was the Chief. So when I saw this watch, I said, ooh, I know this isn't the original, but I'm getting this watch. And that I wear. I saw Doug 2 months ago. He's in a wheelchair now. But I saw him 2 months ago, and he was sort of like, wait a minute, I know this kid. And I said, Doug, it's me, Wiley. He said, oh, and I just happened to have this on. And I said, look what I got. Man, the dude eyes just teared up, man. So again, I don't care what you buy, and I love that Rolex you got, but I know some people make a big deal out of watches. And this week alone, I've been covering stuff on like, hey, you have to enjoy your watch. Because if you buy it I can't buy a watch to please Jen. She's gonna talk about me. She's a rough cookie. So yeah, man. Yeah, I love this topic, man. I was listening when I just got off work, and I was listening. I was like, oh man, I got to get into this one. So
that's awesome. So $5 super chat from Burbing Heart. If you want to talk about this, fine. If not, that's fine too. What do you think?
Despite the internet, I'm actually a very private person, but people seem to be very obsessed with my personal life. So I'm going to plead the fifth and say no comment, but I'm happy to answer another question because it was a super chat. So if you have another question, I'm happy to answer it. So
Bubba Hotep, $10. The only watch person I've met and connected with is Blake in Las Vegas. He graciously took me to his main Rolex AD and introduced me as a friend. Oddly, I've been blacklisted there ever since. He's kidding.
We're both blacklisted there, Bubba. We're both blacklisted there at this point. They don't want me coming in there anymore. I cause too much trouble.
It's so funny. I just thought about this. Like, I wouldn't be on here. I literally bumped into Blake in Switzerland. Like, I don't know what the chances of that happening. Like, when you talk about making connections, like, we just happened to bump into each other, and you gave me one of your bracelets, and I was like, "Oh, so cool, the lonely wrist!" And then here I am. So it's just so like, what are the chances of that happening? So that's what I love about the watch world. So.
And I mean, we want to have you in for a complete show to hear more, about your story. You're launching a channel, or you have launched a channel, your travels for watches, kind of all the things that you've gotten into all over the world. You said you like travel. This is giving you a chance to do that. Yeah. So we want to have a complete show with you. But for now, we're going to give you a 4-minute warning to get into the race. So if you want to get into the race, you know how to do it. Super chat, member chat, all of that kind of stuff like that there. We'll also pick a couple of free entries at the end, and then we'll have our race at the end. But let me get a little preview for folks. What did lead you into watch collecting and then deciding, hey, I want to make this kind of a career. I want to get on YouTube. I want to be a content creator.
Robert, I just want to, we may have forgotten the unboxing.
Oh, my goodness. You haven't unboxed. Let's see how many upvotes we have. And then we'll get to that question, and then we'll just run over time because who cares? We can run over time as much as we want. We have 38 upvotes. That is enough. So, Mitch, let's get you into position, and then we're going to hear from
the position. Yes.
Yes, please do, Mitch. There we go.
So this is going to be, folks who've been on here long enough know that I'm intrigued by the different and also the technologically interesting, or different than you might expect from a given brand. People may already know what this is just by the fact that the boxing is, shall we say, minimal.
Yeah, I know what it is.
All right, Blake, okay, let us have it.
I mean, it's definitely a Breitling.
Yes, indeed. It
Okay.
is a Breitling, and I took the watch out of here for reasons that you will soon see, because this box is made for dropping the watch.
Don't drop it.
And we know that Gambino and I have issues with that.
I dropped one
This is
too.
what it would open up to. You know,
Oh, dude.
there goes the phone.
Dude, I have folded thousands of those stupid ass boxes in my life, and they're
Yeah.
just annoying shits.
Yeah. I don't know
You're
who
welcome.
thought of it, but it's like the price of being different in terms of packaging, at least, may not be ultimately worth it. I'm sure they're saving tons of money compared to the packaging that other brands provide watches at a given price level. At any rate, this is
Oh, it's upside down, but the Breitling Premier.
the Breitling Premier, the duograph. So it is a Rattrapant
Ooh,
Wow, nice.
Nice.
very cool, Mitch.
in rose gold. The movement, that's going to be a little bit hard to see because of the
Mitch likes high tech watches with all kinds of features, but not
That's
cameras.
amazing.
I can't see, you know,
And
it's good enough for Apple, it's good enough for me.
It's annoying to me how brands are moving away from manual winding chronographs and just going into automatic
Yeah.
chronographs. It's like the V12 of the watch world, you know? Like people need to keep doing that, you know?
Yeah, the interesting thing on this watch is that the Rattrapant mechanism is on the dial side. So this looks pretty much identical to a normal B09 manual wind Breitling chrono movement, regular chrono.
It's amazing.
Congratulations.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
The box crystal,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Chic
It's a
thick.
thick boy.
boy, yeah.
Boy.
Well, no one ever accused me of being dainty.
Blake, my argument is that for a watch collector, every watch is manual wind, because if we own more than, I got like 10 or 12 that I rotate through.
Yeah.
I wear them for a couple of days. Every time I pick up a new one, I got to wind it anyway.
That's true. That's true.
That's why I stopped using a watch winder.
To get you like back into winding your watches, or
I wasn't really, I mean,
it's
I didn't have, I never had like a 12 watch winder.
yeah.
You know,
I enjoy it because it's like one of the very few times. I mean, you're wearing your watch all day, but you get to kind of connect with your watch for just a couple seconds while you're powering it, winding it, or whatever. And so, like, if there's, I mean, right now I'm wearing a manual winding watch, and I'm starting to trend into the manual winding stuff. I really enjoy winding my watch, and getting a feel for it. I mean, you can feel the crown, and I don't know, it's just a moment for me.
one of the reasons I like chronographs as much as I do, even though some people think it's the most useless complication, is that you get to press the buttons.
Yeah.
Buttons. You gotta have buttons.
Yeah.
All the buttons.
I will say that when I unboxed the Super Racing, it was on the community channel. Or the Watch Colony. One of the things somebody asked me why I got the Super Racing, and I said one of the reasons was it was an automatic, and we've improved the technology since manual line.
Wait, was that the first time or the second time you unboxed that?
The first time.
Okay.
Yeah, the second time you unboxed it, I think, was here.
Yeah, the second time I unboxed it here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got to keep Lucha on the rails. He
That's
makes
right.
he veers off every now and then. We got to keep him focused.
Speaking of Lucha, thank you for the $5. Let's go racing. So Lucha is in the race as well. So let me get back to By the way, beautiful watch, Mitch. Oh my God, that thing's awesome. So tell us, Wrist Chick, kind of back to my question to you. Tell me how you got into all of this.
Oh man, it's not this great big glamorous story. I kind of just
It
started.
is. Don't sell yourself short.
Blake knows me. So this happened like maybe 6-7 years ago. I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. I noticed like everyone around me was wearing Apple watches, and I'm like, I grew up, my mom always had a real watch on, all this stuff. So I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, watched all these guys, and I just started learning. It was all behind the scenes for me. Like I just spent the last like 5-6 years, like finding as much information as I can. I just became kind of obsessed with it. And I work in a field that's very opposite from this. And this was like something fun, something like, exciting. And then I've been traveling for years. I've been a solo traveler. I go all over the world. It's just what I love to do. And then I went to my first watch event last October. So I've only been doing this a couple months. Since last October, end of October, I went to Watch Time, New York City. I was super nervous. I had to like pay my cousin to come with me. I had to pay for her train, pay for her food. Nobody would go with me. And then, I walk in there, I'm so nervous, but then like Moser was like the first brand I saw, met those guys, made a connection. And then I went to Wind Up, and then it has just gone from there. And I've been to as many watch events as I can go to. I was like, I love this. And I love the people. I love the watches. I like the connections. And then the social media part came about because I was finding there was a gap in the content, and there wasn't a lot of women that were more enthusiasts, like I don't work in the industry. I'm not influenced by a brand. I'm not trying to sell anything. I just love watches, and I really want women to see that even if you don't care about like the movement or whatever, geeking out about stuff, like just the lifestyle around it, like have like a watch. It doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be anything crazy. And so I found like a gap where, a lot of people are very serious when they talk about watches, which is fine because I find that very informational, but I'm not like that. I'm a little more out in the wild, fun. So I said, let me fill that gap in the content. And, it's just been nice for me too, even just to get out and meet people. And, because I live on my own. So I'm like, this gets me out. I travel, and it's only been a few months, but it kind of took off. And I've just met so many amazing people. And really, that's just it for me. It's not, not a career yet. I mean, there's, always opportunities that may come up for me. I would love to not do my normal job.
Yep.
There's some stuff behind the scenes stuff going on, things, but hopefully, for now it's just an amazing hobby. So
That's dope. That's dope.
Very
And
cool.
and I will second that because that was one thing that I was looking for. It wasn't a lot of ladies enthusiasts. Let me just say that there are some ladies on there, but like there was one, I can't remember her name. It was one that she went away. I think she had got sick or something like that. And I watched her channel every time she upload. You know what I'm saying? Because I loved watching from the ladies' perspective. You know what I'm saying? When they're talking watches. Because it's a ton of guys out here. You got people that like to sell. You got a lot of people that like to talk junk, all this other stuff. I'm like, look, let's get to the lifestyle part of it, man, because you told me to go get this watch. I got it. Now where I'm applying it. I never get to see that, so, and now so similar to your story, I'm just like, that's the space that I feel like I love that part of it.
Yeah.
So something that I kind of want to talk about, which I mean, it kind of segues, but it kind of like broke my heart, but also like, I don't think people who really understand this, and we did our first event, our watch club event here in Vegas with Bucherer, and one guy showed up, and ever since then, he hasn't showed up to another single event. And like, he and I still text, and I'm like, why haven't you shown up? Why haven't you came to any more of the watch events? He's like, oh man, I love watches like that. But he just feels intimidated, especially when he sees a lot of people wearing like crazy expensive watches, like in our watch club, like gold Daytonas and this and that. And it's disappointing. And I also am like, dude, don't worry about what anybody else is wearing.
Yeah.
The only thing that we care about is your enthusiasm for the hobby, and you're welcome. Like And so just trying to convey that, has been challenging, and get that point across, and to get people feel welcome, because I do these events once a month, and then I do branded events and this, I do all this shit, and it's broken my heart to get that feeling that people don't feel welcome in our community for some reason, or they don't make the leap or whatever, right?
Right.
For whatever personal reason they have.
So when I go to Watch Club, there's an upstart Red Bar chapter here in Orlando, and it's like 12, 14, 15 people. And I'm one of the few that I'll bring a box of 6, and I'll bring some high dollar and some more easily accessible stuff. But I bring them, and then I let everybody know that I bring these not so much to show how much money I have or whatever, or how much money I've spent on watches. I bring them because a lot of people haven't had a chance to see stuff up close.
Yeah.
And I make them accessible for anybody that wants to pick them up, touch them, put them on, try them on, because that's how I got a lot of exposure to them.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be,
Yeah, and it's the same thing at our Red Bar. A lot of people bring their expensive watches, but you don't have to have that to be a member. And you don't have to have that to be a member of Blake's group, because I'm the Blake's group in Las Vegas. I'm a member of the same group in Austin. And yeah, there's a lot of heavy hitters in that group. I'll wear my squale. I don't care. A lot of those guys have never seen a squale, so it's fun, and it's all levels and everything else. $5 super chat from our man Toyota Mo. Shout out to the next up and coming superstar YouTuber, the Wrist Chick. Keep up the great work. Oh yeah, hi to the rest of the panel. We appreciate you actually seeing us, Toyota Mo. Thank you.
I'm supposed to say thank you. Thank you, Mo.
I'm going to change my name to largely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Massively invisible.
That's right. Well, let me get this race ready to go here, and we'll pick a couple of folks to join. It's going to take me a while to figure all of this out. So, you know me, I'm an old man who's challenged.
Let me see here.
There we go.
Who's been around a while?
I'm not sure if the age has much to do with it, but
let's put Thomas.
I'm at the chat.
Thanks for the support, Brian.
I'm just saying, don't blame it on the age.
It's too funny.
You put Thomas Broadbent in there,
and we'll put Thomas.
Who's Night Diver? Do we know him?
No, I don't. We can put him in there.
Bowman, if we don't know him.
So, first of all, we have to thank George Varghese. Welcome in. All-star panel this evening. Always appreciate the discussions. Lucha, hope you're well.
90%, George, 90%.
So, thank you.
Wrist Chick needs to be in the race, too.
All right. We'll put
I'm new
Wrist
to
Chick
this.
in
I
there.
don't know what this is.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have fun. Well, you have the open invite, so you can be here every week.
That's right.
I know. This was the only night in my whole life I had something to do.
You can join us as a
You
can join us as a regular panelist. That's fine with me, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The more,
Please,
the merrier.
I need all the help wrangling these people that I can get.
I know, it's like
we definitely need.
I know.
We
need
definitely need
estrogen.
We need some babysitters for sure.
Need a little estrogen.
So since Wrist Chick is new to this, here are our horses all lined up. We've turned the volume down because it's quite annoying, and we shuffle the characters. And here we go. We've got everybody even here at the start. Ryan Hofrey pulling out a little bit along with Burbing Heart, getting out front there, which we know what that means. That means they'll be last at the end. So congratulations for losing. Now you never know. Ryan could pull it out. He's going, but Thomas Broadbent is starting to come up as well.
Duco is falling back in the middle of the pack, which is a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign for him. Toyota Mo is now coming into the lead with Thomas Broadbent. Ryan is faded away, and here comes Lucha Bedek. Here comes Mark. But
my
Thelonious
God.
Monk.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
There he is. Thelonious Monk.
Hold on, I want to drug test that horse.
You are our winner this evening, and of course that means you'll be in whenever we get back to the monthly races. You'll be up for a monthly race, and if you win that, you win a prize.
Ooh.
So very cool, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. We love doing the Tuesday night show. Had a great crew this evening. We want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank Mark, Mitch, Brian, Jen, Blake, Travis, and the wrist chick, who I don't know what your real name is.
I don't disclose it. It's a secret.
So there you go.
It's the first name wrist, last name chick.
That's
right.
actually my birth name. It's on my birth certificate. So, you know.
So there you go. We're thank you guys for being in. Thank all of you for hanging with us in the chat. We appreciate you guys as well. And we will see you next week.
Come in, get it! Come in, get it! Come in, get it! You won't regret it in 2023 at Tip Top Snack Bar!